Team 3, welcome to week 8 of term 2. As you can see, I'm back down in the kitchen at school, ready to cook for another week. Next week you'll all be back at school as well. You'll be able to see your teachers and your friends, and you'll be able to cook with me and Bill in the kitchen, so we're very excited about that. For now, I'm going to go out to the garden and do a harvest, so follow me. So I'm down in the Ian Jones garden, ready to do the harvest today. But while I was here, I wanted to talk to you about the citrus trees that we saw in week 3. We saw green limes growing, we saw green lemons waiting to turn yellow, and we saw green mandarins that we were waiting to turn orange. So let's go have a look and see what's happened now. This is our lime tree. As you can see, there are many yellow limes on our tree now. That means that the yellow limes are at their ripest. They've turned from green to yellow, and yellow limes are sweeter than the green ones and they're less acidic as well. Over here, you will see our lemons. Now our lemons too are changing colour. They've gone from green to yellow, and they're getting ready for us to use in our cooking when they're a bit more ripe. Then down the back, we have our mandarins. Now, as you can see, our mandarins too are changing colour. They've changed from green to orange, and that means that they're ready for us to use in our cooking as well. So for this week's recipe, I'm going to go and harvest some of the orange mandarins that we saw, and some of that beautiful rhubarb growing next to the mandarins. And then I'll meet you back in the kitchen. So week 8's recipe is rhubarb and raspberry coconut slice. Now this recipe is a dessert. It consists of 3 layers. There's the biscuit base on the bottom, then there's the cooked rhubarb and jam in the middle with the crunchy coconut topping on top. So from the garden we have harvested our rhubarb and our mandarins. The mandarin juice will go on the rhubarb while it's cooking. We've got raspberry jam, custard powder, sugar, desiccated coconut, plain flour, self-raising flour, butter, and eggs from our chickens. So let's start cooking. So I've got all the equipment to set up my workstation. I have my compost bucket, tea towel, green cloth for wiping the workbenches, the scourer for doing the dishes. I've got my chopping board on the edge of my bench with my non-slip mat underneath, and I have my knife on top ready to go. I've already washed my hands really well before we set up the station. The next thing I did was turn on my oven to 200 degrees Celsius. I have removed the leaves from the rhubarb and given the stems a wash. I'm now going to chop them into 2 centimetre pieces. The mandarins have been chopped in half. I'm now going to use the juicer to get the juice out of them. I'm going to add the juice to the rhubarb. And some caster sugar. Going to mix it together. And we're going to bake it in the oven for about 15 minutes. So I have my lamington or slice tray, and as you can see, I've oiled it with some oil and lined it with some baking paper, making sure the baking paper extends above the edges of the tin. Now I'll set this aside for later. We're now going to start the biscuit base. Into a bowl of an electric mixer, we put our sugar, our butter, and we're going to crack one egg. Now this is going to be beaten on a high speed until this turns pale and creamy in colour. The butter, eggs and sugar is now pale colour yellow, nice and creamy. We're going to sift our plain flour, self-raising flour and custard powder into a bowl. We're going to add this to our butter, sugar and eggs and mix on a low speed until combined. So you can see the biscuit base has come together. I'm now going to spread it into the prepared lamington pan. So the biscuit base is ready to go into the oven now. The mix itself was a bit sticky. The best thing I found to do was to wet your hands and press it out and then flatten it out with a damp spatula. Now I'm going to bake this for 15 minutes. Now I've removed the rhubarb from the oven. It's soft to the touch, but it's still holding its shape. So that's exactly what we're looking for. While the biscuit base is baking, we're going to make our coconut topping. So I've got my coconut in a bowl. To that, I'm going to add the caster sugar and 2 beaten eggs. So the biscuit base has been cooling for about 10 minutes. We're now going to spread it with the jam, then layer the rhubarb over the top, then the coconut mixture, and put it back in the oven for 25 minutes. There you have it, Learning Team 3, Weeks 8 recipe, raspberry and rhubarb coconut slice. Well, that's all for me now, Learning Team 3. I hope you've enjoyed these videos over the last 8 weeks, and I look forward to seeing you all in person next week. See you then.